security is going to continue to grow for a very long time. I've challenged the team to build a pretty aggressive plan over the next few years. I think that we should continue to see growth, and I believe it will only continue to be a greater percentage of our business. We'll see if it can become the predominant one. That would be great if it does, but I certainly see multi-year growth in that business.
Chuck, I know that your goal is to restore Cisco into double-digit growth going forward. How close are you to this now, and how much of a drag is your hardware business, your switching business, on that goal?
Well, David, if you look at our switching business, it really falls into two different categories. We have our campus switching, which is sort of the bread and butter. It's about 2/3 of the business, and that business is highly driven by technology refresh cycles. And when you see uncertainty in the macro environment like we see today, customers tend to pause on that. But if you look at the other third, which is our data center switching portfolio, which is a $4 billion run rate business, our orders this past quarter grew in double digits. Our security revenue grew 17%. Our collaboration business, which is over $4 billion annualized, grew 10%. Our services business grew 11%. So we had some real bright spots. And in the switching space in particular, I think that data center switching performance says that customers also really buy into this notion of a hybrid cloud world, which means that they're taking advantage of public cloud services, but they continue to build out private cloud infrastructure as well.
Although the data center growth has decelerated.
Well, if you look at our data center switching portfolio, it's actually accelerated over the last few quarters. If you look at our compute platforms with UCS, which is our compute in the data center, there is a transition going on there that we are addressing with some new technologies over the next few quarters. But our switching business in the data center has been accelerating over the last few quarters.
You cited weaker growth globally as one of the potential headwinds. Where specifically is this coming from?
Well, we all know that there are lots of geopolitical dynamics going on. You've got the Brexit vote coming up. We've got uncertainty that continues to exist in Brazil and Russia. We actually have seen great strength in China and India and Mexico over the last few quarters. You've got the interest rate discussion that you were having earlier. And so there are a lot of dynamics that our customers are trying to digest. So what we see are customers that are actually moving on very strategic initiatives because they know that this technology transition that's occurring is not going to wait for anyone. And they all believe that the technology will allow them to service their customers better, know more about their customers, give them the ability to have tighter relationships with their customers, and give them a competitive advantage. So on the strategic initiatives, they're still moving. But there is a lot of caution in the system based on these dynamics.
Chuck, you've talked about macroeconomic uncertainty several times. I'm going to pin you down, ask you an unfair question, very short. If you had to pick one macroeconomic uncertainty, what's the one that bothers you the most? I said it was unfair.
As I look, well, no, it's not unfair. As I look at the dynamics, I think that the overall, the global economy in general and the growth rate of the global GDP is probably the singular issue, and that is impacted obviously by lots of different things. But I think that is by and large the issue. I said on the call that we executed well in a very uncertain environment, but we are also very nicely positioned with to be a beneficiary of any recovery in the global economy.